Hey guys, sorry for the background noise. It's currently like pouring here. So like if you hear like kind of sound, it's because it's raining. So I went and saw the after movie on Saturday with my friend. And last video I made like a review of the book. So I decided, you know what, let me make a review of the movie. So I think the one thing that, I didn't like really anticipate when I was seeing the movie is the fact that they added some unnecessary scenes. That was like one of the big questionable choices that Anna Todd made throughout the movie, was the fact that she added unnecessary scenes and then cut short some of the scenes that were important. Like, for instance, the lake scene. It was very short, and it didn't last that long, and that's like a very pivotal moment in the book, and it was short. And then she added unnecessary scenes, like there is a scene where Steph and Tristan, who they changed to a girl in the movie, are like making out, and like Tess is like uncomfortable and she's like laying in her bed. I feel like that was kind of unnecessary. I think I got the point of what they were trying to put across, with the fact that Tessa is uncomfortable with the idea of sex, but I felt like we already got that idea when we heard that she was like a virgin. So I felt like that whole point of showing that was really redundant at that point. I think also, like, there were like some, I think one of the funniest scenes I saw was when Hardin and Tessa are like making out, and like her mom just walks in. That was the most funniest thing ever. And I was like dying laughing. I was like sitting next to my friend. I was like, this never happened in the book, but it's too funny. I feel like those scenes kind of made sense, because like I know in the book, when when Carol, which is Tessa's mother, visits their apartment, then it's a different scene, or it's like more closer to the end of the book. I think one of the differences was the fact that in the movie, when Steph first meets Noah, the only thing that Tessa says is, "This is Noah," and she automatically assumes that Noah is her brother, which I kind of like. I read the book, so I knew that that wasn't her brother, but like I felt like they kind of like made it made Steph like assume it, because she didn't introduce her as her boyfriend. I thought, like, when I was reading the book, I kind of got mad at Tessa for like doing that to Noah, but like now, like watching the movie, I feel like they didn't really have like a relationship, in the sense, like, they and like the one thing that, like, kind of like weirded me out throughout the book and even in the movie, was the fact that him and her mother have a weird relationship, where like he tells her everything she does, and I found that very weird. And even in like the movie, it was like very translated in it, and I was like kind of weirded out by it. I feel like the movie in itself was really good, and I liked it, and I had a lot of laughs. But like there was like no fighting in this movie, which I thought was kind of weird, because in the whole book, they're constantly fighting back and forth with each other. They're like, insulting each other, and I thought, that would translate to some, at least some of it in the movie. But then I knew that they were gonna try to make him softer in the movie, because not a lot of, like, even if you haven't read the book, they wanted to make sure that he wasn't too harsh, which he was in the book. I think because because in the US it's PG-13, which I didn't understand. Apparently there's like 20 minutes of the movie that we like are not going to see, because in the US it's PG-13, which I didn't really get, cuz like this book alone, they had a lot of sex in it, so I really didn't understand it. But it made, because they cut out those like scenes, it made the movie very choppy, and like there were like weird cuts after each scene, and we didn't really see like relationship development between Hardin and Tessa, because in the beginning of the book, Tessa and Hardin, like, they hate each other. They really don't like each other. They don't get along. And, like, slowly but surely, they, like, slowly progress and they, start to like each other. And we didn't see that in the book. Like, literally, I think 5 minutes into the movie, he's like, I want to show you something. And then they go straight to the lake scene. I felt like that was, it kind of like was too fast for me, because I know like their relationship is very fast paced in the book. Like, they move in the span of like 3 months. It's a fast paced book. But the fact is that they hated each other in the beginning and they didn't even show that. So I was kind of, disappointed in that sense. I'm going to be seeing it again um on Friday, because I need to like relook at it, because like I think I was wrong in going in with the anticipation that it was going to be kind of like the book. It was in some ways like the book, but it was very different too, because they added these scenes. Like, their relationship didn't really progress. It was like in 5 seconds they were together. And like the only scene where you saw like he wasn't really into like being in a relationship with her was like the bar scene, which is after the lake scene. And like he says like he doesn't get into a relationship. But then after that, like they slowly get into a relationship. It didn't make much sense to me, because I know, based on like the book and like what I've read, is that he was very forward with it, and like he said it countless times, not just once, and didn't like go straight with her. And we didn't really see any character development between them. Like, Hardin, he did explain, like, what happened to his mom and everything. But I find it kind of weird that he said it during his dad's wedding. Like, I even, like, when I was watching it, I was, like, in my mind, I was like, this is not how it happened in the book. So I was kind of confused. I was like, what was the whole point of it? Because, like, I felt like the whole point of, like, the wedding scene was, like, they were, like, very cutesy. And I feel like this movie had very cutesy moments. Like there was a montage of them, and they're like, hanging out in the apartment. And I'll get to the apartment in a second. And like, they're like, reading together, and they're having all this fun. And like and one thing that I felt like kind of made sense was the fact that for the apartment, of when he like buys the apartment for her, in the book they took it in a different direction. I mean, in the movie they took it in a different direction and decided to make it his father's friend's place, and he was meant to be taking care of it. I felt like they, took it in that direction because they didn't know how audiences would respond to him actually buying a place for her and then, like, living together like that. The one scene I was kind of disappointed in was like the bed scene, because that was a very big, reveal or revelation in the book, and it was hard on my heart after I heard that. And he had, like, took her virginity as like a bet, that took it. But the way they did it in the book was the fact that he was gonna make her fall in love with him and then just turn it off, which I kind of was disappointed in that, because like, it's supposed to be like this big reveal, and I felt like they kind of tuned it down. But I kind of understand from their point of view why they turned it down, because maybe, audiences wouldn't like that they haven't read the book. But I feel like this movie was more into like what the audience would want, rather the audience that hasn't read the book, rather than the audiences that have read the book. I feel like that was, not maybe the best idea. I feel like there was a lot of things I liked, but there were a lot of things I didn't like. And the fact is, like, their relationship was just so choppy. That's one thing I didn't understand. And I felt like if you didn't, my friend, she hadn't read the books. I told her about it, and I told her what happened. And she even agreed with me. It's very choppy, and, there's no, like, relationship development. Like, they just go straight to the relationship, and, like, they stay together. And, I didn't understand that. But, that's just the way Anna Todd decided to, portray it. I did read that if they get another movie, that she'll be more, tailored to the actual book. So if we do get another movie, then I guess it's a good idea for, like, most of your fans, that, we might get a more close to the book, movie. But I feel like there were points that made me laugh, and there were points that made me like kind of sad. But they had very cute moments in the movie. Like there was one scene with like she's feeding him strawberries, and his whole mouth is like like a chipmunk. It was really cute. I feel like we didn't get a lot of cutesy moments in the book, so I like that they integrated it into the movie, so like it kind of made it more enjoyable. The one thing I did like though was the letter at the end. I've been trying to find that letter in the first book. I feel like I'm mixing the first and second book together. It's probably it, but that letter at the end was amazing. I loved it. The one line out of that entire like letter that he wrote to her was the fact that he said, Whatever our souls are made of, hers and mine are the same." I felt like that line was like perfect to way to end of it. And then the last thing he said is like, "Do you remember when you asked me who I love most in this world?" And he's like, "It's you." And that brought me back to when she asked him in the lake scene in the movie, and he says, "It's me." And I looked over to my friend. I'm like, yeah, he actually means that. So I feel like I like that they put that same line in at the end to just show that he has loved somebody more than himself. I felt like that was really good character development for him, but maybe not for like their relationship. But I feel like that letter at the end was really nice. The way that they ended it though, like where they're just staring off at each other, I feel like it was good in a sense where they can like pick off with the sequel. But then again, it was kind of weird just watching them stare at each other for like 10 seconds. But it was okay. So that's my final thoughts on this movie. If you want to comment down below what you thought of the movie, comment down below. Give this video a like and a thumbs up, which is the same thing. Subscribe to my channel. I will be posting more book reviews soon. I'm going to BookCon in a couple of months. So if you want me to do like a BookCon vlog and like a book haul after we go to BookCon, I'll definitely take that. I'll definitely do it. Well, that's it. Bye guys.